Yeah, first of all, thanks for all being here today. It's obviously an exciting time of year to be a college basketball player or coach, and it's going to be a fantastic season, I think, for the Pac-12, and I certainly hope for the Colorado Buffaloes.
We'll go ahead and open it up to questions. Please feel free to come up to the stage with Coach Boyle and the student athletes in the back of the room. Thanks.
What's up, Casey?
What's up, my friend?
How are you, man? Good to see you.
Good, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you.
So, Coach, we know like a lot of talk is on your returning players with good reason. They're studs. I'd like to know maybe a couple of different guys who need to step up for you to like. Who's a key besides those two in the back? Who's a key for you in their development this season? Who needs to have a breakout year?
I think in terms of breakout years, I think I look at a guy like Deshaun Schwartz. He had a great off season. He's a guy that's capable. I think he showed as a freshman how capable of a shooter he is. He didn't shoot the ball as well as he could have last year, but he had a great off season. He's really worked hard on his game, and his body looks good. He's shooting the ball well, and I think he can be have a breakout year. And I would say Dalen Kuntz. They're both left-handed guys. Deshaun's a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, but Dalen is a great slasher, can really score the ball in a lot of different ways. He's getting better defensively. But I would say those two guys, we saw what Evan Batty did. Yeah. He's going to be key to our team this year as well. We've got a lot of keys. You go down the lineup and you feel like, as a coach, you feel like everybody's a key. But if you ask me for two or three guys, I would say Deshaun and Dalen and Evan.
Do you know why Deshaun struggled with his shot? Like, was there a few things that you could kind of pinpoint there or work with him on?
I think with shooters, Casey, you probably remember this. You were a good shooter. Is a lot of it's just mental and it's like confidence and feeling it. His shot selection. Usually I look at shot selection if you're not shooting great percentages, but his shot selection was pretty good. I think it was more just a confidence thing and putting a little bit too much pressure on himself. And I think that's one of the things that our team's going to have to do a good job of this year is not play with the weight of the world on their shoulders. And, this is a new position that we've been in terms of being picked where we are. So I think we've just got to go out and play and play free and play smart, take good shots, but play with a sense of freedom.
Hey, it seems like on paper that you guys have been building for this moment, but I'm sure it probably came together a little bit differently. Just how did you guys sort of get to this point?
Well, I think it all starts with recruiting. I mean, you talk to any coach, I think that's what it is. But as I look at our junior class, we've got McKinley and Tyler here. We just talked about Deshaun Schwartz. Evan Batty is only a sophomore, but only because he redshirted. But those four guys, that nucleus of players, we've kind of added to that. We've got a couple guys above them, Lucas Seward and Shane Gatling, that are seniors. But it starts with recruiting, and that class was a really, really solid class. And I think, I hope that before it's all said and done, it could be one of the best in Colorado history. But we'll have to see how it all plays out. But I know this: those four guys are great pieces to build around.
Coach, you're not sneaking up on anybody anymore. You've got a bullseye on your back. How do you manage expectations?
Well, I think the way you manage expectations is you just you have to have a daily realization with your players that all that stuff doesn't mean anything, and they have to understand that. They got to believe that, and you got to go play. You go earn respect. You can't be given respect, and the fact that people have picked us where they've picked us, maybe it makes you feel good for a minute, but it's not going to win you any games. Just like when they pick you 11th, it's not going to lose you any games. You just got to go out and play, and you got to come to the gym every day with the attitude we're going to get better, and we got to prove ourselves every single night we step on the floor. And you're right, we're not going to sneak up on anybody, and I wouldn't expect to.
Yeah, moving the line back, does that change your philosophy a little bit? I mean, you're thinking that go inside to out, or is that?
We always want to play inside out. I mean, we want to play through our post guys. We want to get paint touches before we shoot threes. And I think if you've got good shooters or who other coaches think are good shooters, it's going to open the floor up for more driving opportunities for guys like McKinley and Dalen and some of our guards. But it's also going to open it up for your big guys. Now, if you got guys that can't shoot or other coaches don't think can shoot, and look, the Pac-12, there's a lot of teams that play zone in our league now, and so with that line going back, I don't see that changing. You're going to see a little bit more zone, exactly. So that's why a lot of our practice time, and certainly before practice and after practice on their own, our players got to be knocking down that shot when they're open.
Hey, just in this day and age of the one-and-done players, to have a veteran team sort of says what now? I mean, is it two contrasting styles, or can you win with youth? Can you win with veterans?
I think you win with good players, and you win with discipline. You win with toughness. You win with shot selection. You win with rebounding. I mean, the way you win basketball games is no different today than it was maybe, 20 years ago, except for maybe the three-point line is a little bit bigger part of it. But in terms of the one and done and all, I do think you'd rather have experience than youth. There's no doubt about that. I think if you look at the NCAA tournament, the teams that have advanced, by and large, that would make an argument for that case. But look, we've never had a one and done at Colorado. We've never had a McDonald's All-American, but we've got good players. And the players, I think the key for coaching, especially at a place like Colorado, is you got to make sure that your players are getting better every single year, every season. And you got to get players that love the game. You got to get players that will work on the game and respect the game, and they don't feel a sense of entitlement. And I think that's the biggest thing with coaching, players today, is fighting those things.
When you're as old as your team is now, do you can you get through practice quicker? Do you sort of not have to break up practice as much? Can you let them go a little bit more?
I wouldn't say
how does that
quicker.
show?
I think sometimes you can make a false assumption as a coach that because we're experienced, we know what we're supposed to do. I think we put in a couple new actions that we hadn't had before, and guess what? Our juniors and seniors were having to figure it out. Now, if it's something that you've been running for 2 years, you don't maybe have to spend. But now, the biggest key is not knowing what your job is, but executing your job. And I think that's the biggest challenge as a coach, is getting your players to execute at a high level. And maybe when they're young, you just want them to figure out what they're supposed to do. And now when they're juniors or seniors, hey, we have to execute this at a high level, because that's how you're going to win games. You're not going to win games by running tricky plays. You're going to win games by executing whatever the heck it is that you're running, both offensively or defensively.
Coach, what was it like for you to watch McKinley go through what he went through last year with the torn labrum and playing through it and just missing one game? What did that say to you about him?
Well, number one, it speaks to his toughness, and I think somebody asked me earlier, describe McKinley Wright in one word, and I said toughness. I mean, and I think that's who he is. So, we knew that when we recruited him, but then to see what he did last year and how he played through that, I think it just speaks to it and lets the whole, people that follow the Pac-12 understand what a special kid he is.
What were those conversations like with him as you see him separate his shoulder in games?
Quite frankly, I didn't have any. We were getting ready to. It happened to practice after Christmas, the first practice after Christmas. We were opening up in Tucson, and he was on the trip. I didn't expect him to play that weekend, and he just said, "Coach, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm ready to go." And I said, "Oh, I didn't know you could, but okay." And he played pretty well, and then after that, I just left it up to him. I mean, because as a coach, you got to be careful when you have a player that's injured. They have to be the ones that are the ones. And he sat out one game. He sat out the Utah game at Utah, and we got spanked. And you could tell on the bench that he wasn't going to miss any more games, and he didn't. And so he's the ultimate competitor.
What do you hope to see from him this year in his development?
Well, I want to see him stay healthy, number one. and then once he stays healthy, I think, McKinley's really worked on his floaters, his mid-range game. He's really worked on his three-point shooting. Those are two things that we really challenged him with at the end of last year. He's worked on those two parts of his games. I think, the problems he's had as a point guard his first 2 years is maybe over-penetrating, getting too deep. He's a little guy. So, shooting those floaters and mid-range jump shots and knocking down open threes. He's always going to be an attack-minded guy because that's just his nature. But better decision-making in the lane and being able to finish those plays is.
And then lastly, what are your thoughts on the China game this year and playing Arizona State out there?
Thoughts on China? I'm excited. None of our players have been to China. None of our staff have been to China. It's going to be a great opportunity to experience a different country, a different culture. We're going to play a heck of an Arizona State team. I mean, you look at Bobby's teams and what they've done in the month of November. It's pretty special, pretty remarkable. So the one thing we know about Arizona State is they're going to be ready to go. We gotta be ready to go ourselves. And I'd rather not be playing another Pac-12 team over there, but that's the way it worked out this year. So we're going to make the most of it and have a great trip.
Ted, kind of piggybacking on that, as much as you can, try and change the schedule a little bit this year with a veteran team, or you really couldn't do that? Or?
No, we changed, PJ. We definitely ramped up. If you looked at last year's non-conference schedule for us and then this year's, a distinct difference because our team is different, and we knew we were going to have guys back. We knew we were going to be a veteran team, so we really ramped it up. We're playing Dayton and Chicago. We're playing at Kansas. We're on the road at Colorado State. We got the Arizona State game. We got Northern Iowa coming in. We really ramped up our non-conference, the Vegas tournament, So
The good news about the veteran guys, they know the drills. Is asking about that, but sometimes keeping it fresh is a little bit of a challenge.
Keeping it
to
fresh.
get through the preseason.
Absolutely.
They're licking their chops to getting ready to go. Or
yeah, and one of the things we've tried to do, PJ, is scrimmage a little bit more. I think early, just to give them that taste, because there's so many drills you can do, and they've been there, done that.
Yeah.
You lose their attention a little bit. So or putting new actions in, something maybe we haven't run, or tweaking some things. Every year you do that. You go through your playbook and what did we run and not use? Let's get rid of that. What did we run and worked well? Let's keep doing that. What did we run that didn't work? Let's get rid of that. What are we going to add based on your personnel? So we're in the process of doing that right now.
NCAA might make any changes, or would you like to see any in advance of what California and some of the other states are talking about doing with the likeness?
The name, image, and likeness?
Yeah, and how it passed law, and I guess they gave, there's 3 years before it goes into effect.
No, I think, look, I think the NCAA, they have a working group right now that has been working, on this issue for quite some time. It's not just something that just came as a result of the California law. So the NCAA has been working and will continue to work on what that means and what that looks like. And so I think we're going to all have to wait and see, what comes of that. We obviously live in very interesting times right now when you got different states weighing in on how you operate your business. And I don't know anybody that has the answer or has a silver bullet or knows what's going to happen, but I think we've just got to kind of wait and see. And I'm anxious to see what that working group comes up with. And I think we'll see some changes. I just don't think anybody knows what they're going to be right now.
Can you
So
get
look
your,
in-
sorry, Percy, just following up, get your head around what it might do to recruiting? And if
No,
some of this-
I mean I think that's the big concern
Yeah.
with the NCAA is how will it affect recruiting, and how can we legislate it, and then how can we enforce it? Whatever changes come, and we have that right now. So if we change what amateurism looks like and what can and can't be done, we have to figure out how do we legislate it and how do we enforce it. And that's I know that's part of their challenge.
We got time for one more, if any. Okay.
Thank you.
Coach, we're all good. Thank you.